Hey there, it's Coach KG here, and before we jump into it, it is early Black Friday, so we wanted to run a promotion we have never run before. It is such an incredible deal that I promise you will not want to miss out on. So instead of our 90-day accelerator, we're going to add on an additional 30 days, which is one free month, as well as 25% off. This is something we never do, and I can promise you there will be no greater time to sign up than now. So all you have to do is message us with the keyword Black Friday to our Instagram, which is ColossusFit, ColossusUSFIT. This will go by quickly because it is such an incredible deal. So as soon as you hear this, stop the episode, send us a message, and then continue the episode. Now into the rest of the episode.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Fit, Healthy, and Most of All Happy podcast. I'm your coach and host, Josh, here with
his co-host and co-coach, KG, and I'm in the podcast garage.
And this is Motivation Monday. We're here to get you fired up, inspired, and ready for a productive and amazing week. And as always, we like to go ahead and start with our primary question. And I'm going to waste no time. We're going to jump right into it. For our first question out of the mailbag, we have a question from Gabrielle, and she's been absolutely crushing it, which has been amazing to see. And her question is, I've talked with Coach Jason a bit already about the winter blues up here in Alaska. Do you have any tips and tricks to stay motivated in the colder/darker months? One thing I do have is a sunlight simulating alarm clock on the way, but wondering if you have any more ideas.
So this is a fantastic question. Actually, funny enough, this episode is something that our clients privately got in our coaching community the other day, and we had all the coaches there. Our audio was needed a little bit of work, so we wanted to kind of rehearse this and go over some of these amazing questions and also share it with all of you awesome listeners because they were fantastic questions. So with that being said, one of my biggest things that Josh and all of our coaches agree with is having things that you look forward to that may be a little bit different than what you look forward to during the summer and spring months. So for me personally, I've got a list of things. We try to book a little bit of a trip in February, so that's super exciting to look forward to. We try to do different things such as snowboarding, where obviously during summer you can't do that, right? So, a lot of things where it's maybe even indoors that we might try to stay away from during the summer because obviously you want to be outdoors as much as you can depending on the weather. So I'd say it's such a great opportunity to join new things, to try new things. And often you just have to get started, especially because it's so easy just to lay there and just want to kind of hang out at home and just maybe watch a movie and whatever it is. So to me personally, I look at it as an amazing opportunity to just level up in so many other ways, right? When you think of summer, you think of maybe different patios and different, just anything outdoor related, but you could join some sort of club, right? And even funny enough, we just joined a sim league. So it's like a indoor racing on like a simulator. I'm really bad at it. We'll talk about it after, but it's out of our comfort zone. We're like, how can we look forward to each Tuesday where we used to do beach volleyball? We won that. We had a great time. And we're like, Tuesday nights are free now. What do? We signed up for something else. And it also doesn't have to be something that's paid. Like there's so many amazing opportunities. It could be going to a coffee shop, meeting up with friends, having just fun things to look forward to. That's going to be the most important thing. And that's what I wanted to start off with for this question.
Yeah, I had to go ahead and Google it because I know Alaska is an extreme situation as well. And I just searched it and it says there's an average of 18 hours of daylight per day in the summer, which is crazy. And then an average of 6 hours of daylight per day in the winter. And that some days are actually 0 hours in the winter, which is crazy of sunlight. So I do know that is a particularly difficult one with Alaska. And I think in general, we're all in different areas. For some people, the winter isn't a big deal. They throw on a sweater. They're in LA. They're still living the dream. They're just not going near the ocean. For other people, we got snow coming and different things. So it is entirely different for everyone, but nonetheless, most places are going to have less sunlight, and that is difficult. And we always use the example of the importance of getting out and getting in the sun. I know Huerman's big on it, and Kyle actually made a funny meme kind of talking about that recently, but it is one thing we love to do is to get out, feel the sun on your skin. It's very rejuvenating. You get vitamin D. It feels fantastic. So one of the first things I'll do is actually supplement with vitamin D, and I'll make a point to be really diligent with that. That's been a great benefit for me, and I do find that helps me quite a lot. On top of that, I love Kyle's example of just taking it for what it is. If you have snow, what fun activities can you do in the snow? How can you take advantage of more indoor fun activities as well? Like we won't really rock climb much in the summer because we'll make a point to be outside enjoying the beautiful weather. Whereas in the winter, it's a great time to do some more of these indoor activities and to utilize some different things that are still going to be fun for you, that are going to keep you active, and then that are going to keep you busy. Those sunlight simulating lights are another great option. Science is mixed on them for sure, but it is a great opportunity, and I feel it feels good even to have that. I have one I'll take out in the winter sometimes and go ahead and utilize, and especially if you're a place where you're getting like no sun, that could be a big difference maker for you. So that is absolutely something I would really make a point to utilize. But on top of that, I find there's just a great opportunity to battle what comes with the winter. It's really tempting just to curl up and not move and take away all the things you've been doing well. And one thing I shared with our coaching clients was the importance of just dressing for the occasion. Even if it's a really cold day, you can always bundle that much more. You can find a way to make it work. If you need to have a toque and gloves and everything, like get the right gear, get out there, still get on a walk. And even if it's really, really cold, but you still get some sun, you get some fresh air, it still feels a lot better than being cooped up all winter. So I find just embracing it, not being scared of it, still trying to make a point to do the things that you know make yourself feel better. And I find walks are such an amazing way to do that. Do some ice skating, do whatever it really takes. But by doing that and also using that time to train extra hard because there's less exciting outdoor activities to do, spend some extra time in the gym, maybe embrace some cardio machines. If it's harder to do your normal sources outside, you have a few different opportunities with that. I got like a little standing, just a small desk treadmill, and that's been pretty good. Just to be able to hop on that here and there and take advantage of that. Even staying at the gym a little bit longer, doing some Stairmaster, doing a class, whatever it may be. Like getting cardio in, getting endorphins in a time where you're going to get a little bit of those winter blues can feel absolutely fantastic. So those are my top tips. I also lean in my cooking a bit more, and I try to eat really good, hearty, healthy foods because it can be real easy to crutch and just defer to like comfort foods that aren't going to be the best for you and that are ultimately going to bring you down.
Yeah, honestly, I will say a lot of it is just a mindset. I know it's easier said than done, but when you can switch that mindset going into the colder months and darker months to like Josh said, even as well, look for those opportunities. Like there's so many different examples. I've already talked about a few, but it could be like, I think Josh said the other day, like a knitting club or something like that. That could be fun for some people. Even a book club could be fun. Like you could just set a challenge to do more books. Like there's just so much endless opportunity there that often isn't utilized because you kind of are waiting for like the sun to motivate you or like the brightness, and you never take that next step because you're kind of just like hanging out and not doing much. But even just the journey as well, like if you spend all that extra time that you would use like outdoors or doing something different to cook or even to spend more time in the gym, it's a great opportunity. Like even we haven't played pickleball in a while, but I do predict in the next few months as it's going to be a little bit darker and colder, like instead of a 5 p.m. activity that we would do outdoors as it's darker, we'll spend an hour and a half playing pickleball, which will be fun and exciting to get back into. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense. And that's the last thing I have for that one.
Yeah, one bonus too is summer bodies are made in the winter. Like this is a time where you can slack and do a lot of damage, or you can really just treat it as crunch time, really get on your grind, build a great foundation, and spring will come again. I find that's always a good thing to remember, and putting in work and not putting yourself in a worse situation is absolutely amazing. And as we transition into our quote, I think this really speaks, and this is probably one of my favorite quotes, and this is, "Inaction breeds doubt and fear. Action breeds confidence and courage." And this is from the legend Dale Carnegie. And I love this because inaction is just so hard. And the less we act, and when we know there's something we need to do and we say, oh, I know I need to clean this. And you keep looking at it, and every day you keep thinking, oh, I should clean this. I should have cleaned it. And then people come over, you're like, oh, I should have cleaned this. And it's just something that'll weigh on you and you'll feel bad. Whereas if you just said, you know what, I'm just going to start, even if you don't know the perfect way to do it, you just start taking action, that can snowball and that momentum can build. And it's the same with fitness. It really hurts because we'll have oftentimes two people reach out for coaching at the same time. We do a special opportunity like we have the Black Friday, and one person will say, I think I'm going to wait till my habits are a little bit better, or till this arbitrary day, which we've spoken about a lot recently. And other people will say, hey, I accept there is no perfect time. I'm just going to take action And then from that, they get confidence and courage. But that other person gets doubt and fear, and they start to say, oh, maybe I can't do this. And they get in their own head. But you just tackle things head on. You stop overthinking them, and you just start saying, I'm going to create this action. I'm going to create this change. And then it always pains me because this one person's stuck where they are getting worse. And this other person's just seeing phenomenal results, just moving forward. And it's hard too, seeing these people reach back out. And it's great seeing them eventually take action, see that change. But you're like, we could have been here 2 years ago. We could have been so much further. And even with myself, when there's something tough and you've been putting it off, just battling it head on, making a list, just not trying to do it with perfection, but just saying, how can I tackle this? How can I get into it? How can I create action, even if it's imperfect action? And once again, inaction will breed doubt and fear. Action will breed confidence and courage.
And it's funny because these quotes go quite well hand in hand here. I have for this amazing Monday, or whenever you're listening to this, don't sit around waiting forever. It won't happen unless you make it happen. And at first I was like, you know what? I'm going to try to find a quote that's just I've never said before. It just is like completely different than what I talk about. But it's just been really on my head lately, or just, yeah, kind of in my mind lately, similar to what Josh was just saying there, of just like the amount of times like we just have that conversation. And there's so many amazing people, and it makes me so happy. Like I think of probably 10 to 20 people right now where they just said, you know what, I know it's not the perfect time, but I'm going to commit and I'm going to get started. And they now look at, like, even Ryan, for example, he's working with Coach Jason. He was an elementary school friend. And I specifically think of him because I had a good conversation with him last week, and it was not the perfect time. It never will be. And now he's just about 25 pounds down in under 2 months, which is incredible, making such great progress. And even looking back at his first message when he first reached out, it's so inspiring to see. And he even said, he's like, I've been waiting for that perfect time. I realize it's not going to come. Now's the time. Let's do this. And having a young kid, buying a business, like having a lot on the go, and just having previous, like, we'll have a shout out for him soon, so I won't spoil it just yet. But anyways, I think it's such an important thing. Like, if there's something you want to do right now, don't sit there and wait. Get started now. Don't put it off, and you won't regret it. I promise you, you won't regret it. So that's my quote for today.
And speaking of perfect time, this is the perfect time, because this Black Friday deal is a little bit uncomfortable for us. We believe in what we do so much, and we really make a point to not discount what we do, because we know we get results. Our results are fully guaranteed, or your money back. So you have nothing to lose. And Kyle's like, let's do something crazy for Black Friday. Let's give everyone who's been on the fence that opportunity to see the results they want. And if you've been listening to this podcast for a while, we're really big on not waiting till the new year. Like, the New Year's rush is usually, statistics are there. It's not going to work if you put it off. So this is your chance to get 25% off. And instead of a 90-day accelerator, you can get 120 days. You're going to get 4 months. And that's going to give us so much time to make whatever your dream physique goals, health goals, a reality. So don't put this off. This is your time to take to create change. So DM us Black Friday to make that happen. This will close up, and we do have minimal spots for it. But right now they're open. So this is your chance. So just DM us and let's get that started. And this is a great segue into a client we have that signed up, that's been crushing it. So who do we have this week?
Yeah, so this week we have Ashley Sauce, who's been doing such an incredible job with Coach Lauren. She was doing CrossFit previously, realized that it wasn't meeting her body's goals and needs and whatnot, and she just wanted to switch it up. She's traveled a lot as well. Similar to what Josh was just saying, like, it wasn't a perfect time. Like, when you look at all these amazing success stories, sometimes people think that it's like they had everything in line and everything was great. And to be honest, it wasn't, right? Because traveling's hard, right? Even here, I've got a list from Lauren. She went to New York, Vegas, Palm Springs, Italy, Scotland, which is so incredible, because I love when someone can actually still live their life, which is what our clients do, because we follow a flexible dieting approach. So I just got to give some credit, obviously, to Ashley as well as Coach Lauren for doing such a great job with her. But she's lost a bunch of weight, she's built muscle, she's created new habits, and she didn't wait until the perfect time, which is ultimately what every single one of these transformations has in common. So yeah, amazing job. Just wanted to give Ashley some credit. We'll always be posting every Monday the transformation, what they have to say about the program. We just say, hey, say a few words. Don't give them a script or anything like that. And then as well, you'll be able to learn a few different tips of what has helped them out. Because I promise you, if you listen to what all these people say in terms of what's helped them, you can learn a lot to be able to help yourself as well. So yeah, great job to everyone here involved in the process.
A big shout out to Ashley. And I actually realized I skipped over the what has us excited or intrigued. And I know Kyle has some great notes there. So take it away.
Yeah, so lots of fun stuff. I mean, to me lately, the journey's been really, really exciting. I know before sometimes we talk about where we're at in the journey, and that's kind of like a little combination here is what has me excited. So the other day, so every Sunday or usually Monday morning, I'll send Josh a few different things from my previous week. He does the same thing, and I didn't want to send it this week because it was a bit of a gong show, I guess you could say. I wasn't as prepared as usual. As they say, fail to prepare, prepare to fail. I know that quote. I just didn't prepare. So anyways, the first step is still doing that thing, is still sending that, whatever it is. You have a coach, you don't want to check in with them because you're not sure, you're whatever. The most important thing is to still do it, because if you only do your check-ins, if you only, go during the perfect times when everything was great, you're always going to be waiting, right? So for me, I'm like, you know what? I'm still going to put it in here. I was uncomfortable. I didn't. Josh had some great points. He obviously called me out. He immediately realized. And I made changes. I went to the grocery store right after I prepared. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because most people in their lives, they don't have someone who's willing to check in, willing to care, willing to help you reach your goals. And that's why I think it's so important. Even when I talk to a lot of people in the gym, like I just ask them, hey, how's everything going? A lot of you guys message us on Instagram. And the truth is, like, very few people have accountability. So it's just, it was great to see. And obviously it's been an incredible week. I bounced back. We're all good. We're all humans as well. So I think it's a very important thing to not miss twice. So when you do have that little mistake, you learn from it and you keep moving forward. And so that was been great. That was awesome. And then we also did the DEXA scan, and amazing results. I gained 10 pounds of muscle over the last 4.5 months, I think it was. So 15 pounds total, 5 pounds of fat, 10 pounds of muscle, been training insane, all natural, which of course has been exciting. And so I'm really happy with the results, and I'm excited for the next DEXA scan as well. And Josh had some incredible results as well.
Yeah, I love that example of just the importance of accountability. And one of my favorite lines as a coach to my clients, one of the first things I'll tell them is, don't run from me, run to me. So when things are hard, it's easy to, like they say, to shame dies in the light. It's real easy to curl up, want to run away from everything, put it to the side and just say, oh, I'm a failure. But instead, it's like there's an opportunity to work through these things. And identifying holes in our game doesn't mean we're like a bad person or a bad player or we suck at what we're doing. It's just an opportunity for improvement. And that's why we've been using these DEXA scans. So for those of you that don't know what this is, it's different from like a bod pod at the gym. Like, this is a more intense machine. It's like a machine that kind of just goes over you a little bit. It shows your bone density, does a lot of different metrics, but it's considered the gold standard for identifying body fat. It's a very, very accurate machine. It'll show case by case your body, your left arm to your right arm, your legs, and it will compare the data previously as well. And last time we did it, like, me and Kyle both weren't happy with how the results were looking. And yeah, it sucks, but also it doesn't change who we are, how we felt. And it's sometimes people get so upset that their weight's a number, their body fat's a number. It's like, it doesn't really matter how you look. Like, if I'm shredded and I look great and it said I'm like 15% body fat, why do I care? Like, it's a good sign. It just helps you identify. And even last time for us, we both saw, we're like, oh, we lost a little bit of muscle in the legs. There's an opportunity to improve that. And we could have just ignored that and said, oh, this sucks. The gym sucks. I'm never doing legs again. I'm just going to accept my demise here. Instead, we said, okay, we got to train legs harder. Where can we push these buttons more? And like, by identifying that, we're able to improve that. And that's where I think reframing these hiccups, these opportunities, and they can be wake-up calls. And like Kyle said, we all need accountability, and you can simulate that for yourself with different metrics like this. I do my measurements every month. I have my clients do their measurements every month. We do monthly progress photos, and we're always looking through them and identifying them. And most often than not, I'd say with my clients, I'm like, wow, you're crushing it. I've noticed gains here, here, and here. Here and there, I say, hey, I think there's an opportunity for us to improve. Like this, we've struggled with this, and we really need to highlight this. And when we do these things, I know the results are going to be crazy. So being able to identify these things will only make us stronger. So don't be scared or embarrassed about your weaknesses. Instead, identify them and improve them. And that's ultimately how we get better. But Art, go ahead.
And the most important thing is, if you identify this weakness, you actually have to take action. Like Josh said, it's easy to be like, brush it off and be like, I'm never doing a DEXA scan again. Like, who cares? And I could have done that and be like, oh, whatever. Like, I'm only getting older now, right? And just make those consistent jokes. But even I know someone who's not happy with his results, and he just like doesn't change. And in order to change, you have to make change. And that's where so many people struggle, is like they either don't know the numbers or like care to see that, or when they do see something such as a stat that's like scary of, maybe being overweight or whatever it is, and then they don't take action. And then the third group of people are the ones who know what's going on and they actually take action. And that's the group I want to be in. And that's the group I encourage all of you to be in as well.
Great. Now for our second question, we have, what would you say is your motivation when you're feeling down and that could work for others before working out? By the way, Armando rocks, and that's from Carlos.
So Carlos is part of our coaching program. Really happy. He's a friend of ours and just doing really well. He recently had a daughter. And when he asked this in our coaching group the other day, so all of our coaches had some incredible answers, very personal. And, we always talk about, in order to get motivation, you have to actually take action first. That's something a lot of people miss out on because they think they need to be motivated to then take action, but often action then leads to motivation. But I gave Carlos a bit of a different answer because I know that he recently had his daughter. Congrats there. Amazing, super happy for him there. And I said specifically, especially when it comes to the gym, to think about that. How can you use that as motivation? Because obviously with kids, it's easy to use that as a crutch. I know a lot of people do. And for Carlos, I said, hey, every single time you think of picking her up down the road, every single time you think of, energy levels and going to the park and like anything related to her, like that's going to be most people's, especially most parents' biggest inspiration. 100% always will be. And instead, if you can consistently use that and think of everyday tasks, think of being, picking them up at school, wanting to be that in shape and fit dad. And so when I gave him this response, I tried to think of it more of like what's going through his head, knowing him as a person, trying to personalize it a little bit there. So that was kind of what I gave for him. But yeah, like obviously bringing it back to a more general standpoint, I just think you have to take action. You just have to do it, when it's tough. You have to take action to then get motivated. And that's going to be my biggest and quickest answer for this very awesome question.
I just love that response of action breeding more action. And I'm sure we've all had those days where we've just been a couch potato, we've done nothing. And like the thought of standing up just seems impossible. Whereas we have those days where you're like, I've crushed my whole list. I got my groceries. I had a great day of work. I crushed a workout. I saw my friends, and you're just buggying. Like, you're like, what else can I do? What else can I knock off? And like, to me, that's a way better feeling than being like, feeling fear of like standing up because it seems so hard. And starting small is great too. On those days that it's really hard and it seems impossible to go to the gym, just do something small. I've used that example of just making your bed, tidying up your room, tidy up your car, make a healthy meal. Any of these small wins will make you want to continue to have more wins. So by just winning these small little battles, you can create a lot of energy to carry that forward and to really create that momentum for yourself to see more progress. And when I'm having a bad day, I just do everything I can to support myself through that bad day. So I'll make sure I'm waking up on time, I'm making my bed, I'm making my space as good as it can be. I'm trying to listen to great motivational content or a phenomenal podcast. It's going to build me up. I'm going to eat a healthy meal. I'm not going to do anything that's going to make me feel worse, like over caffeinating or having a really bad meal, and just really supporting myself through a day where I don't feel as good. And understanding too that you'll have days where you feel amazing and you'll have days where you don't feel the best. And just knowing that when we can win those days that are a little bit harder, it'll be that much easier on the days where we're feeling strong and stronger. So I love that question, and that has just been my go-to thing. And even to that point of starting small, another thing I really love is just going on a walk. I find going on a walk, kind of thinking through the day, creating a tentative schedule, like that's what always works the best for me.
Yeah, I remember I learned this, I don't remember where it was. I think it was like the 5-minute rule. Is kind of just like try to do it for 5 minutes, and if you don't feel it, like, go home, whatever it is. And I'm willing to bet you, especially when it comes to cardio, when it comes to working out, like obviously there may be that feeling like, I really don't want to do it, but there's going to be a good chunk of you where you're just like, I feel good, like getting my body moving. It actually feels incredible. So I think sometimes it can be daunting when you think, I have to go to the gym. And it's like, if you say on a bad day, like I have to go for 2 hours, and you just constantly think of like every set, every whatever, like you might kind of put it off. Whereas if you kind of trick your mindset into thinking, you know what, I'm going to warm up for 5 minutes. I'm going to do some bench press. Let's use as an example, because bench press is more exciting than squats for us, especially. And then say, hey, I'm going to see how that goes. And for me personally, like even if I'm not feeling it, there's no way after hitting a couple reps of any exercise, I'm going to be like, all right, I'm going home now. You're just going to want to continue. So I think sometimes it's a bit of a mind trick to say, hey, I'm only going for a little bit and I'll see how I feel. And I use this example for cardio too. Like when it comes to walking, sometimes I'm like, I'd rather chill at home, whatever. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to get moving for a few minutes. And then 99.9% of the time I keep going and do my regular loop. So fantastic question. And hopefully that helped.
And now we're just going to finish it off with a rapid fire. These are just some fun, silly questions we got asked. And the first one is Starbucks or Tim Hortons?
So we're going to have to say, well, I'm going to say Starbucks, just a great workplace for us. We built our business working out of there. And yeah, honestly, right now I'm drinking one. So that's why I'm going to have to say Starbucks.
Yeah, like Tim Hortons, if you don't know, is a super Canadian thing, and it's like the pride and joy here. But I feel like I go through waves, and in general, it's gone down a little bit. So try not to go there all too often. And even Starbucks sometimes will drive me nuts with like the line. So I would say like coffee at home is my first choice. But if I want to go somewhere to work, to read a book, to get some work done, Starbucks has always been there for us. It's always like being our office, and that's predominantly where we've done most of our work. Like we've never had a physical office space. Myself and Kyle would just go take out the computer and just say, hey, how can we help more people transform? And Starbucks has been a big part of that. So I'll have to go ahead and pick Starbucks here. I would never work out of a Tim Hortons. It's not conducive of a good work environment. Next question. What's your favorite treat when you have extra room in your calories/macros?
I'm going to have to say ice cream, and that's a simple answer for me there. So not much to expand on there.
Yeah, I'm not a big sweets person. Like salty, probably. Like I like chips, but I have a hard time just having a tiny amount of chips. So I try to stay clear of those, and I'll do like Quest chips most often. But like in terms of a treat, the sweet thing I do like is like those Reese Big Cups. They're like 200 calories each, so you got to be careful with them. I don't have them all too often, but here and there I'll have them as a treat. I won't stock them in my house because if I did, I'd be having them every night. Instead, when I want them, I force myself to drive all the way to the grocery store, wait in a line, just get one item, and it's good. It usually dissuades me from when I don't actually want them, but there's times where I'm like, oh, this is going to be fun. I'm going to have the sweet treat and I don't mind having it. So that was a fun question as well. The next question we have is favorite pizza topping.
Gonna have to say pepperoni. Actually, it's funny with our coaching group, we did a big debate. Most people were team pineapple. We made a joke saying pineapple, and I'll probably do another post about that because that seems to be one of the biggest debates. And I guess you could say not fitness, but just in general. Anytime I've ever done a post like that, it just goes off because everyone either thinks pepperoni should or shouldn't be on a pizza. But to me, pineapple should and shouldn't be on pizza. But pepperoni is just what I would always get, and it's going to be my personal favorite one.
I really do like pineapple on pizza, so that's one of them. But pepperoni is probably one of my favorites, and I'll eat pizza pretty frequently, not actual pizza, but we'll do like a hack where I'll have a tortilla, and then I'll do a lactose-free cheese. I use the one called Allegro. It's really high in protein, so I'll do that, and then I'll usually do onion and turkey pepperoni, or turkey bacon, which is quite high in protein and pretty low in fat, and it's really great with the macros, and I'm able to eat like 4 of those for about 800 calories, which is really fun. So they're about 200 calories each, and I end up with a really healthy amount of protein, and I'm able to like have something really fun without any of that guilt. So in general, I think pepperoni is the ultimate pizza topping, but I'll also put some pineapple on there, and onion is definitely a close third for me. I know Kyle hates onion, but those are probably my top 3, and that's a really good hack. Try those tortilla pizzas out. If you look for like a lactose-free cheese, or you look at the macros of the different cheeses, you'll see some that are high in protein and that are actually quite tasty. So definitely something to check out there. And then for the final question we have here is, what do you prefer, the steam room or the dry heat sauna?
Yeah, I'm going to have to say the dry heat sauna 100% just is, funny enough, we were having a big debate as well. It was a fun live stream. So for our coaching clients, they had a great time there because everyone chimed in this call last week. But yeah, just the dry to me is just more chill, feels less gross. To me, it's just a more relaxing experience. And yeah, I just prefer the dry. I mean, I'll still use the steam, don't get me wrong, but if I have the option, I'll definitely choose the dry sauna myself.
Yeah, dry is my favorite as well. I've never been crazy about the steam. I'll do it sometimes. I think it can be nice with eucalyptus, but dry sauna is definitely my favorite and something I've really come to enjoy. And sometimes to me, it's quite relaxing getting in there for 10 to 20 minutes. Ours gets pretty hot at the gym we go to, which is nice, like 200 degrees, which is pretty sweet, Fahrenheit, of course. So it's pretty intense in there, but it's really, really nice. Just get in there, get a nice sweat going, go have a nice shower, and I find like it's a perfect complement to a nice hard workout. So that is our episode for today. We hope you enjoyed it and you got a lot of great value. Once again, this is the biggest sale we're ever doing, and we're not going to actually extend the Black Friday sale to potentially be as good as the early access is, because we want to reward you for not putting off your fitness, not waiting. Remember, action breeds more action. So this is your chance to get started for 25% off and a bonus 30 days. So you're getting 33% more value for 25% less of the price. So don't miss out on this. This is your chance. Just message us on Instagram, the keyword Black Friday, and we can't wait to get you incredible results so we can push into 2025 with you being your best self.